Up and down the country, schools are implementing their new secondary curriculum. But the big question is, how do we know it's having an impact?
Oh, that was in Year 7 at Mersey.
Year 7. Wow, there was a lot of teamwork that you had to have in that.
We had to cooperate a lot with everybody, didn't we?
Because we all didn't know each other that well, so it was a really good way to kind of break the ice.
Yeah. Make friends.
Yeah.
Look at Sammy.
Honeywood School in Essex introduced their new curriculum in 2005. For over 3 years, they've been evaluating and improving it, using a range of tools to constantly question the impact they're having. We'll see how their Year 9 pupils, now in their 3rd year of this new curriculum, are experiencing the evolution of these changes and how the school is evolving its assessment systems.
I'm Annabelle, I'm in Year 9 at Honeywood School. My favourite subjects are drama and English.
I'm Edward, I'm really interested in any sport and I'm also on the school council for our year.
I'm Ellen, I'm in Year 9 at Honeywood and my favourite hobbies are dancing and going out with my friends.
Honeywood School is an 11 to 16 mixed comprehensive. It's a rural location and we serve a lot of villages in the area. Standards are very good and always have been for a number of years now, but one of the areas that we were very concerned about was pupils' ability to be independent in their learning. So we looked at ways of getting them to mix more, better teamwork, more flexibility, more adaptability and more perseverance, and came up with the idea of initially focus days. Days where children would have extended periods of time to work across the curriculum on different problem-solving exercises.
At approximately 8 o'clock this morning, scattered reports started coming in of sightings of unidentified flying objects from all over Manford County.
Currently, the school has 7 focus days throughout the year for all pupils. These focus days come out of years of evaluating and tweaking the school's approach to developing skills.
According to witnesses, the spacecraft have been slowly drifting over the area.
The first half of the day is devoted to problem-solving exercises. Pupils have to find and eliminate alien invaders.
And you've been calling and texting us in your thousands to tell us the locations of other spaceships.
3/4 of a mile north of the police station. So north is that way, so draw that on. Oh, we're going to go.
You don't want to go that way, do you? No. So you want to go down? That way? What, down and out? Yeah. Let's go out that way, no, quick way. First it started off with one alien and then you had to try and work out how to get around that, and then suddenly like 3 or 4 started appearing. 2 and a bit in there, it's not even a half yet. You needed teamwork because you needed to assign different jobs to different people so you could get the work done all together on time.
So we need a safe meeting place. Queen Street, Manford Square. Do you agree? I found like the cooperation part fairly difficult because I enjoy taking the lead role and things, so I thought cooperation was good for me.
We shared the food equally among us. The more of us that shared the food, the less we had to eat.
That's like going down. Yeah. So we need one going.
It kind of brings out a lot more subjects because it's not just about maths, it was about the science, also media influence.
One of the difficult things about this type of development is it's very difficult to give small percentage increase numbers that prove it works. We use a lot of evaluations where we listen to what the youngsters are saying about their learning, but actually much of the evaluation comes in more longitudinal way.
There is a lock though, and it seems to have lots of numbers on it, so possibly it's a combination lock of some kind.
Well, you've got to work out what one of the row is and then times it by 100. It's -1.
Yeah, well said.
I really struggle with timing, especially in tests, because I spend too long on one question and I never get the test finished, but definitely today, where you had to figure out code in a certain amount of time, that's definitely going to help me in my test. So what number should you type in? 199?
199 for 199.
Year 9 for us are quite an interesting group of students because obviously since they joined the school in Year 7 they have been kind of pioneers of focus days for us, and their whole learning has been linked in with the development of the skills that we have with focus days.
Oh, do you remember that one? That was Year 7, wasn't it?
That was the second focus day we did, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. So we had to try and take a certain amount of moves to get to the middle, and you had to stand on certain colours to get round to the middle.
I remember that one because I wasn't didn't cooperate that well with the team, so it was quite challenging because I was really keen to take the lead, and now I think I'm a lot better with that. So it's quite nice to remember, really.
Initially, we started with 5 days in 2005. What happened, though, in those first 5 focus days was interesting for the children and very engaging in terms of them having these extended periods and working with a range of other students. But unfortunately, the focus of the days was a bit lost. To give you an example of one where we did that, we had one where children were problem solving about boat building, and I had a comment from a pupil at the end of the day saying to me, it was a very interesting day and I really enjoyed it, miss, but I don't really understand why we did it because I don't want to be a boat builder. And that made me really think that our focus days essentially lacked focus. And what we really wanted to home in on was the skills, and we had to be far more explicit about those.
Oh, everyone's so different.
Everyone had to go through a different section, didn't they? And,
it was like the spider's web, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember that. There's a lot of strategy in that. I mean, we got the people who are really strong, through first, and then we got the lighter people
to help,
and the smaller people, and we kind of carry them across.
Yeah. Look at her doing. She's so young.
Oh, I remember that one. Everyone was probably getting a little bit annoyed because it just wouldn't wait. Yeah, frustrated over it.
Yeah, especially creativity, because you had to apply it to what you were doing to make a certain bridge that would hold in a certain way, so it wouldn't fall down.
Good challenge, perseverance.
We kind of took them away from so much subject areas to more generic skills-based days, and found that the children engaged even more with those, to the extent now that we've increased that now to 7 a year.
After lunch, today's focus day continues for the Year 9s. A workshop with a beatboxer known only as The Hobbit.
I definitely enjoyed listening to Hobbit do all his beatboxing because it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, the noises he makes.
Yes, just you don't realise that you can do it, can you?
The key skill the pupils will be working on is creativity.
Hey, I think we should do this thing. I heard on this advert, it was like, freaky fresh.
Obviously, focus days are a big investment for us in terms of staff time and pupils' learning time. So we wanted to be sure when we were making these changes that it was worth the input that we were putting in terms of the impact on the children's learning. So one of the things we have done since we started these was quite rigorous evaluation. Taking this one, which is quite an early one, we had a number of core questions that we asked the children, but we found over time that the pupils' understanding of the skills wasn't as clear as we would like it. And for example, some of them thought if they were asked if they could work independently, they took it very much as working independently as in on their own. Therefore, the information we were getting initially was really saying that they didn't feel they were working independently, but they were.
What are we going to do about that the fresh bit? Yeah. We need to do something really spicy, like the guy did. Spicy. Really. Do you know what I mean?
So we had to do quite a lot of work on skills, and we moved to this second form that we came up with, which was far more explicit about the range of skills we felt they needed to be independent learners. And pupils were ticking the ones that they had felt they had used. We then went on to a final version, and this version that we've used at the moment allowed them also to evaluate, and we felt this was important, how they'd coped and the skills that they'd utilised, which had been made explicit to them, in, for example, the maths section, and then in the music activity that they'd done on the same day, but slightly differing skills that they were asked. These evaluation sheets, what we've been able to do was to kind of monitor over time the pupils' attitudes and the skills they believe that they have developed.
Wicked.
Interesting, when I look at the most recent evaluation by Year 9, Some of them are actually disagreeing that they found those activities were challenging. I'd be quite interested then to look at that data with them and wonder about, are they finding them not sufficiently challenging because they're actually now equipped quite strongly with the skills we've set about trying to develop in them. So our staff now are going to have to really raise that bar much higher because of the skills our students are developing.
Which part? I'm doing the singing.
The singing? Hi-hat. Doing the hi-hat?
And I'm doing the other two bits.
Other two, which were?
Bass and the...
What's the one in the middle?
Stair.
She's got it for you.
There are objective measures of the change that we're seeing in the youngsters, but at the end of the day it does come down to something that you have to sense. It's quite difficult to actually measure. But if you see, for example, the way children buy into things like contributing to assemblies, 6 years ago they didn't want to get up in assembly and be given a certificate. Now they'll lead assemblies in front of a guest audience. You know, these are very different experiences from what we had 6 or 7 years ago at the school.
So what I'd like you to do now is turn to Focus Day 3 in your booklets. Think about all the things we've just talked about and answer each of the points. If you would like to get...
Evaluation's moved on now, and we had a lot of use, obviously, with the data of having a kind of more anonymous version of what the year group thought of their focus days. But obviously we want to develop the individuals, and to personalise it more, we've now kind of created a focus day skills log, if you like, where pupils track their own individual progress over the year.
These booklets give, it's kind of like your own personal opinion of what you think you've done.
Because we're more honest, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's our book.
We know what we're saying.
Yeah. You've put that you didn't do time management as well in the first one, and then in the second one you put that you did use time management well, so it shows that you're learning a lot more about the skills that you're using.
Yeah, and on here, when it says skills prompt, it doesn't just tell you what like evaluating means, it gives you a question to make you understand what it means, so you kind of have to slightly work it out for yourself.
I think children's language of learning has improved, but obviously want to make it accessible to everyone. So we've had to spend quite a lot of time, and one of our research and development groups actually developed this log by looking with students at how they could phrase things so that students find that accessible and that their actual assessment ends up being an accurate reflection, and we don't go down the route of the independent learning that we suffered with much earlier in the process.
Run, 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 run.
Seeing Hobbit do all the beatboxing and stuff really made us all think of more imaginative ways to perform it.
There's like different types of people, and some people aren't as confident in standing up in front of people, but I think everyone really came out of their shells today.
I think my biggest achievement of the day was definitely at the end when I sang in front of everyone, because that took a lot of confidence for me to do. When I did it, everyone was saying, wow, that was really good, and wow.
The amount of time we spend listening to the youngsters and listening to what they're saying about their learning and joining that up, I think produces the rigour that means that the developments that we're bringing in are actually making a real difference.
You can find some of the resources featured in the school by going to the resources area associated with the programme on the Teachers TV website.